Below, let's discuss the biography of Guru Padmasambhava. In the east, west, south, and central regions of India, Guru Padmasambhava wholeheartedly carried out the above-mentioned activities benefiting sentient beings. Here he doesn't mention the northern part, that's close to the Tibetan region. So in India, Guru Padmasambhava, including these activities benefiting beings in the central region, in Nepal, north of the Ganges River, he extensively benefited sentient beings, especially in Drödang. Guru Padmasambhava's activities were even more vast. Because he first tamed the beings of that place, followers of his pure teachings remain especially numerous to this day. This Drödang, the other day we also discussed, Drödang is the flying place. So last time we also looked at some documents. There are some different accounts. In these it says that including Tulku Tenzin he visited the present-day Madagascar may possibly be the Drödang that Guru Padmasambhava spoke of at that time. It may be this place. Now, some scholars, previously Tibetan King Tenzin Trinley, in his world history also mentioned that at that time, after passing through France and England, Madagascar, this is called Drödang, and in another book it's also discussed this way. There are several places, some materials they collected at that time. Let me show everyone. This is, here it's explained quite clearly. There's one called
Madagascar Yanglang yo pa de repim gombo namtrla sokpale Drödang song repim gombo ta samna de repim gombo namtrlen Drödang ne song.
At this place, Madagascar is now in Africa, also an important country. The people there are not completely black African. They have somewhat of an Asian genetic component. This place is Drödang. Drödang has this kind of distinction. Its capital is called Antananarivo. If you go from Antananarivo in another direction, about 100 kilometers away, is said to be that Drödang place. At that time, Tenzin Rinpoche also went to that place. You see, Drödang now looks like this. If this is truly the case, from the capital to there is about 100 kilometers. This Gyatsa, its capital is here, this red dot. From Drödang to there is about 100 kilometers. Now in Madagascar, if there were a practice center for the future flourishing of Guru Padmasambhava's teachings, it would be very beneficial. So now we monastics should pray more about this aspect. I can only say this much. Slowly, slowly in the future, this will also become known. Especially this year, many conditions are still quite good. I'll just say this much, and you can look at it yourselves. Those with sharp faculties will understand. Those with dull faculties may not. By comparison, Guru Padmasambhava's activities benefiting beings in the Tibetan region are even more excellent. Besides directly or indirectly taming humans and non-humans in this land from ancient times until now, he also made this, just now that Drödang realm seem to have not one who does not become disciples of this emanation body's conduct and this name. That Drödang mentioned just now actually was also where Guru Padmasambhava subdued non-humans and humans. There's still a very special auspicious connection. Here it may be even more than the Tibetan region. At that time, the scope of Guru Padmasambhava's activities may have been even broader than the Tibetan region. So this place, Drödang, in a certain sense. Now the indigenous people there, many are people from Indonesia. So in this way, it seems some, perhaps Atisha in the past, although that time was quite distant, but coming from this side of India, was also relatively close. Not exactly very close, but it's acceptable. So for many noble ones to come through this way is also tenable. Of course, this is also from the perspective of different manifestations and names. For the biography of a noble one who has attained the fruit of union, who could describe it exhaustively? This is very difficult. The biographies of noble ones are generally very difficult to relate, let alone noble ones, even for an ordinary person. When recounting some of their biography and qualities, sometimes it's also uncertain. So in our biography, when discussing Guru Padmasambhava, it should be just a drop in the ocean. What's discussed could be said to be the tip of the iceberg. There's simply no way. Although there are so many manifestations of Guru Padmasambhava, still we... Moreover, at that time, both India and the Tibetan region didn't like keeping records, so what's discussed now is also not everything told. Guru Padmasambhava's main activity was subduing non-humans, and compared with some of the above episodes, his activities benefiting beings in Cāmaradvīpa and other places were even more vast. The former were only in several hundred or even several thousand years, a short period of time occurring in a small area among a small number of beings. But the latter, just now Cāmaradvīpa, as for this place, its location, time, the number of beings, etc., are immeasurable. There are some accounts of this. In some biographies, it's also discussed quite a bit. In stories circulating in India regarding Guru Padmasambhava's experiences after entering the Tibetan snowland, only some things are described. His subduing all the fierce Nagas and Yaksas, and through miraculous powers causing the king to develop faith. Other than this, the specific situation in the Tibetan region is not described in detail. The panditas that the author encountered at that time probably didn't understand the Tibetan region well. At that time, there wasn't communication as developed as now. Probably this, so indeed. And moreover, Tāranātha, he probably wasn't writing about Terma, mainly about the scriptural transmission teachings and the history truly familiar to the local area, so they didn't know that Guru Padmasambhava in the Tibetan region only tamed some beings, only made King Trisongdetsen develop faith, and that there wasn't especially much beyond this. The sequence of taming Drödang is also not clear. The specifics aren't very clear. Tibetans believe that Guru Padmasambhava departed from the Tibetan region to the Rakshasa continent, that place. But regarding this, it seems there are also some different accounts. But the people of Drödang believe that Guru Padmasambhava departed from Drödang to the Rakshasa continent. When the time comes, Tibetans and the people of Drödang can debate this. Let's see how that goes. I don't know if there are such people in those places now. It's difficult. Although his simultaneously manifesting two identities is also not contradictory. Didn't we discuss today that for a tenth-bhūmi bodhisattva, in an instant they can liberate 100 beings? In that case, Guru Padmasambhava at minimum must have attained how many bhumis? In that case, appearing in two places and flying to the Rakshasa continent. This is all not very contradictory, but according to the time when disciples and subsequent disciples in Drödang benefited beings, clearly it was after arriving in the Tibetan region that he went to Drödang. Tāranātha believes this way. He believes this is according to the Drödang local account. This may also be what his Pandita said. First going to the Tibetan region, but in that case it's a bit. We say he flew directly from the Tibetan region, then flying to... Many Panditas kept crying and started seeing him off, crying and so on. In that case, he suddenly returned to Drödang. I don't know what this means. Regarding his history of arriving in the Tibetan region, although in Guru Padmasambhava's biographies and in the Book of Tang there are many records, but in the current Book of Tang in Chinese it can't be found. I've searched before. It can't be found in the Book of Tang. It's just that in the Dunhuang texts there are quite a few. These do exist. But let's set this aside for now. In the scriptural transmission teachings commonly acknowledged by the Nyingma school, the Pith Instruction Garland, Vajrakalaya, Hayagrava, and so on. In many such categories, there are quite a few with the same general framework but slightly different content, including commentaries on the Manjushranama Samgiti. Now, there are two types. One has a transmission lineage, one doesn't. One has a historical preface, one doesn't have a historical account. The one without a historical account says at the end that at that time, Trisongdetsen issued an edict, and then Kawa Paltsek translated translated it. Actually, Guru Padmasambhava himself was also a great translator. In our current Tantras, many were translated by Vimalamitra and Guru Padmasambhava. Now, some scholars believe that those personally translated by Guru Padmasambhava, these are especially conclusive evidence. It is indeed so. So now they specifically have several books on the Tantras translated by Guru Padmasambhava. Largely similar, these are reliable historical facts. Among them, some say Guru Padmasambhava was miraculously born, some say he was womb-born, and some say he was lotus-born. Such things as these. As for this reasoning, we've already analyzed it several times earlier, so everyone should also think about it. Let's stop here for today.
Bandhangara Padmasambhava Bandhangara Padmasambhava Bandhangara Padmasambhava